For Culture, and today is Tuesday, which means we are talking movies. I'm joined by our in-house film critic, Lisa NESSELSON. Hi there, Lisa.
Hi there.
Good to see you. We're going to talk about an English-speaking British director who's made a film set in the Philippines. That doesn't happen every day, does it? It's called Metro Manila.
No, and it's in Tagalog. Director Sean Ellis's new film is about a dirt-poor rice farmer who leaves the Philippine countryside with his wife and his two young daughters to try their luck in the very big city. They're trusting and honest, and so they're taken advantage of almost immediately, right off the bat. They squat in a dangerous slum. The father lands a job as an armored car driver. Picking up money is a dangerous profession all over the world, I think you'll agree. And his wife starts working in a sleazy bar.
Original setting, not so much with the plot then, you might say.
Well, I thought so at first, but at first this seems like a sadly familiar tale of immigration and exploitation, but gradually it turns into a rather ingenious crime thriller, and I've seen quite a few crime thrillers in my life, and I have to admit, I could never have guessed how this one was going to conclude. The ending the film builds to is a real surprise.
Now, the director Sean Ellis is English, so how did he write the film in Tagalog, is it? That's the dialect?
Yes, well, in addition to, he's a very talented guy. In addition to co-writing the script, he also shot the film as well as directing it. And the budget was so modest that at one point he tried to convince Ridley Scott to put it in the category of makeup on his big budget sci-fi film Prometheus. The script was written in English, and the actors, all quite convincing with compelling, unusual faces, translated the dialogue themselves. It's an interesting technique, and it's way cheaper to shoot in the Philippines. They didn't have to concern themselves with hiring expensive, well-known actors from the English-speaking world. It's been sold to many territories, and the result is well worth the detour.
It's worth going to see then, that one.
I think so.
All right. Now, in French cinemas, meanwhile, a first film by a French director.
Yes, and it happens to be a masterpiece. Alain Resnais' first feature film, Hiroshima, Mon Amour, has been restored, and somebody had the splendid idea for the poster. Now, everybody agrees that good reviews can help a first film get noticed, right? Well, the comments from 1959 when it came out were so good, they decided to use them again. So we learned that a certain Jean Cocteau pronounced the film marvelous. Claude Chabrol said it was so good that mere words couldn't describe why. Jean-Luc Godard admitted that Hiroshima, Mon Amour made him jealous.
Wow.
Le Figaro called it a film whose sheer audacity was unheard of, and over 50 years later, I'd say that assessment still applies.
Wow, pretty good accolades for that one then. But the director's still making films. Alain Resnais, he's still
Alain
making
Resnais
films
is,
today.
indeed he is. He was born in 1922. He released You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet last year, and he's working on a new film now. And Resnais has always asked others to write his screenplays, which in the official New Wave playbook would be a bit like asking somebody else to brush your teeth. The iconoclastic author Marguerite Duras wrote this one directly for the screen. Now, you may have noticed a classy older French woman who was nominated for a Best Actress Oscar this year. Well, that's Emmanuelle Riva, and hers was the radiant central performance in Hiroshima, Mon Amour, the movie that made Godard jealous. Riva plays a French actress who has come to the still recovering city of Hiroshima after the war to make a film. While there, she meets an excruciatingly handsome young Japanese man who speaks reasonably good French, and the flippant assertion would be to say that they have sex because, after all, it's a French movie. But they have sex so they can have...
And he's smoking in the kitchen as well.
A bit. But actually, they have sex in this film so they can have post-sex conversations that, in their own way, are more searing than a nuclear-level climax.
Oh, nicely put. Now, this is the same actress that was in Michael Haneke's film Amour.
Right, playing the stroke victim. And if you ever get in an argument about the Oscars, something I would never, ever do, I don't think there's a better example of how inane the Academy Awards voting can be than young Jennifer Lawrence winning Best Actress for her role in Silver Linings Playbook, when Emmanuelle Riva, who had turned 86 the day of the ceremony, was also a nominee for Amour. She was the oldest individual ever nominated, so longevity, I guess, is its own reward. She's still acting, Resnais is still directing, and Hiroshima, Mon Amour remains a formal and emotional shock all these years later. See it if you can.
Great stuff, Lisa. Thank you very much indeed for those tips. Lisa NESSELSON there. Well, time for a short break. When we come back, all the latest international headlines for you, including, of course, a certain baby that was presented to the world just around an hour ago. Yes, it's young baby Cambridge. We still don't know his name, but we've got a little glimpse into what he looks like. Don't think he noticed. Let's take a look at that after this.